Kiddos, there's a problem with the coming-ins of several places. That's because you end on a long note.
It's called New Music for Schools. What they wanted is a composer to work with students to put together a new piece, would use writing done by the children, and yet to some degree would be controlled by an experienced composer, so you'd have something that would hang together at the end. With this piece, I wanted to have a lot of control over the story itself, the basic structure. So when I went to Hooker School, I read them the story, and I said, where would it be good to put a song? Kids picked up on things right away. They picked out the most intense places often in the show. The little doll, for instance, getting sacrificed. I think half the kids, or a third of the kids, probably submitted something about having to give up their favorite thing. Thank goodness the Comanche Indians were storytellers, and so we could slip stories in the story, and that gave us a whole new thing. So something was written about a caterpillar, and something was written about a butterfly and a rainbow and rain and coyote. The kid who submitted the coyote one, I really had to pull it out of him. He kept giving me wild little stories with MTV characters and lots of electronics in it, and I kept saying, no, this is an Indian tale that happened much before electricity. Could you write me something more in the natural world? Finally I said, could you write me a piece about a coyote?
I am a coyote, yellowish brown. I sleep in tall grass whenever I can. The moon's out tonight and I'm going to howl. Hurroo, hurroo.
Two other cases, they were quite elaborate, really sophisticated melodies, and the kids really knew what they were doing, and that was a thrill to work with them, because then we could edit, we could talk about really composers' issues. I had pictured this piece being like a pageant, all movement, all choreographed. And I had worked with the choreographer Karen Davidson last year and liked what she did with the children. She works very well with large bunches of kids having uniform movements in which children who haven't had any training in dance can look good.
Thrilled to have the Chancel Opera Company doing the tale of Blue Bonnet today. Susan Bingham, the great force behind all of it, has been helping with urban-suburban exchanges, helping make them really spectacular for 5 years now. Every year she and her colleagues have come and presented something to some of the urban-suburban exchanges, so we're delighted that you get to see them today.
Animals, animals, foxes and bears.
You hear it said that if a child hasn't had any music by the time the child is 3 or 4, you've really sort of lost the child. You can see that in schools where there hasn't been any for a child. I think that kind of global incorporation of a story into their being helps them learn. It becomes an organic thing rather than just facts entering the brain, things read on a paper. It's very creative, and I don't think they'll forget this.
Their songs about animals, insects, and birds reflected their dire situation.
I guess my primary motivation below and above all this is respect. Kids learning to care about one another, respect one another's work, feel good about themselves, self-respect, and doing music together is a great vehicle for helping kids feel good.
The tribe's most precious possession had been the warrior doll. With grateful hearts the people rose up and greeted she who is alone. They opened their arms to her and drew her to themselves. They put her in their very midst and laid hands upon her and looked up to the Great Spirit. And it came to them that they should give her a new name, she who dearly loved her people.